was actually in the middle of teaching a class on fair housing when a buyer's agent called me to tell me that her buyer felt that one of my seller clients and I had discriminated against him and violated fair housing. Today is April 15th, 2026. April is National Fair Housing Month, and I have committed to posting a fair housing video every day this month. In October of 2020, I listed a home in Grayson, Georgia for $225,000. Grayson, Georgia is in the Northeast metropolitan Atlanta area, and $225,000 was an attractive price point for first-time home buyers, empty nesters, and investors. Now, this is right around the time when things were just starting to get crazy and turn into a ridiculous seller's market. We received 13 offers on this home. The top offer was $242,000, a full $17,000 above list, which was great. It also had an appraisal contingency. Now, appraisal contingencies are pretty common in my area. It allows the buyer to ask the seller to reduce the price if the appraisal doesn't support the contract price. If the seller refuses, the buyer can walk away and take their earnest money, and the seller starts all over. Since we were well above the price supported by recent comparable sales, I advised the seller that I could reach out to the buyer's agents and see if they would remove the appraisal contingencies. The seller agreed to that strategy. I reached out to the agent for the top offer, and that agent said flatly that her client wouldn't do it. I asked if she wanted to call her client before she answered, and she said that she knew her client wouldn't remove the contingency. So I moved on to the next offer. And finally, the third highest offer, which is the highest offer that would remove the appraisal contingency. We went under contract with that offer and closed in 30 days. The buyer for the highest offer saw that we'd closed for less than what he had offered and felt that he had been discriminated against, hence the call from the buyer's agent. She said that he saw that it closed for less than his offer and felt like we may have selected another offer because his name was Muhammad. I replied, "I'm sorry that they felt that way. Do you remember when I called to ask about removing the appraisal contingency?" There was silence on the other side, and I could tell that she didn't tell her buyer about the conversation. I said, "That's why we went with a different offer. Also, let your buyer know that when I present multiple offers to my clients, I put the terms on a spreadsheet, and I don't even put the buyer's names on there to make sure there's no implicit bias." Now, I don't blame the buyer for feeling the way he did. I'm a realist, and I believe he probably sees his fair share of discrimination on a routine basis. He saw that he had offered more and that we had selected a different, lower offer, and so in his shoes, I may have very well felt and assumed the same thing. The buyer's agent should have never made the decision for her buyer and should have absolutely let her client know that the seller had requested him to remove the appraisal contingency. If she had done that, I don't think the buyer would have ever felt that we discriminated against him. Now, nothing came of it, but it underlines how important communication is to ensure that there are no misunderstandings in real estate.